Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem. Wakahakudas, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled well and taught me this truth. Peace, blessings, salutations, and mercies to the elect, and the one-third remnant out there listening, doing this word with all faith and sincerity, scattered amongst the nations and the four corners of the earth. To you, I say shalom, Lord willing. This video is edifying. It's going to be centered around the topic of NATO separating itself from the United States. All right, and this article pretty much supports that idea. Right now you have Spain, who is the lead adversary against America's policies with Israel in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, right? With this recent escapade of the U.S. and Israel bombing Iran out of nowhere, causing all type of problems globally for, the nations of the earth. All right, and Spain has pretty much stepped up, along with a couple other nations in the EU, to not only go against what the U.S. is doing openly, but they're refusing to even give aid or let any of their territory be used against any attacks against Iran, which is unprecedented. All right, this is not something that, we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing NATO and the U.S. aligned with each other. But things have changed, The spirit in the earth has changed. The tone towards the U.S. is now beginning to become more frustrated, right? And disdain is setting in, and especially with the rhetoric coming from DJT. All right, he's not making it no better with his proud and pompous attitude, not realizing that he's sliding himself right into prophecy. Okay, this is the article by AOL.com, and it's entitled "How Spain Became Europe's Conscience as Sanchez Leads Moral Pushback Against U.S. and Israel." All right, and we know, according to prophecy, Israel is pretty much forcing the U.S.'s hand in this Iran conflict, but its allies is not supporting. Okay, and if you pay attention to the rhetoric that Spain is using towards America, for this article to call Spain the conscience of NATO, or the conscience of Europe, says a lot, because Spain is very displeased with America, and they pretty much want nothing to do with the whore of Babylon. Okay. So this is the mood. It's only going to continue to exacerbate and to escalate into a complete separation from America, and ultimately a war between the U.S. and its allies. Okay. Europe's challenge is not only to rearm itself to address its security and defense problems, but to also rearm itself morally so that it can contribute to stable and peaceful development throughout the world, right? So they're trying to change their posture. Their posture is changing towards the U.S. They no longer want to be a part of its mission. Okay, there's a disalignment. Okay, and it's been there for a minute, and it's been building, but now it's getting to the point where It's no longer being hidden. It's no longer just speculation and rumors behind the scenes. It's open. Okay. This is Matthew 12 and 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Right. And the house of Edom is fervently divided. Okay. And they're all divided against America because America is the problem. Okay. When you look at all the issues in the earth, you could directly source them back to the U.S. Okay. Right back to the U.S. And everybody sees it. Everybody knows it. And Esau don't play about his money, and his money is being played with. Okay. And the purpose that the U.S. once, had is now showing itself to be, not there anymore. Okay. The U.S. was once looked at as kind of like a shield against Russia. But now its allies are waking up to find that they need a shield against the U.S. That's why they're all deciding to gather and build themselves up so they won't need the protection of the U.S. anymore. And ultimately, they're going to fire, ICBMs at America when it's all said and done. And this is the beginning of that, the build-up leading into that great day, right? And if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then shall his kingdom stand? Right. So it's not going to stand because that the U.S. and NATO power structure is what built the West. Okay, them being together, right, is what got them the hegemony that they have now. Okay, and that they've maintained for so many years, but that's disannulled now. That's coming to an end. It's very fragile. Okay. So this is the end of this man's kingdom. All right. And he thinks in his mind that he has a clever trick to try to save it, but there is no saving this, man. It's, it's over. All right. It's over. It's ran its course. All right. This is Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And that's why DJT, right? Donald J. Trump is the perfect man. He's the perfect man for the job, because when you look at his antics, I mean, it just makes you feel some type of way, right? Because he is a provoker, right? He provokes and antagonizes everyone, including his own allies. He don't have a chill, okay? And he embarrasses and shames his own allies as if there won't be a consequence about it. He makes fun of them. Okay, he said Finland, I believe it was Finland or Greenland, Denmark, one of those countries. He said that their army was a dog and a sleigh. He talks openly about how without the U.S., the EU would be through, and about how they need to be begging him. He wants them to come begging pretty much, right? It seems as if he's forgotten their place. He's forgotten his place. Okay, America is the beast, or is the whore that rides the beast. Okay, but the beast is the one that put in that work. Europe has put in that work. Okay, America is new to the party, man. Relatively, if you consider the history, if you look at the history and context, you can see that. Okay, and that's why these nations are starting to look at it like, they are. Because they're like, who are you? right? How long have you been around? All right. How far does your history extend, and what is your history? You know, treachery, you know, rape, robbery, murder, whoredom, you know. So these nations, they never trusted America, but, NATO felt like that they were different, but now they're starting to see it. Okay. They're starting to see that they were being played this whole time by the U.S. And the only true ally to the U.S., as Trump said, is Israel. All right. And he gonna find out that's not much of an ally at all. Okay, because those rats don't give a damn. Okay, they're just using America. But, America has been sold out and compromised a long time, man. A long time ago. This is Obadiah 1:7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding them. Right, he's not going to see it coming. He doesn't know he's not going to know what's going on, man. Even though as crazy as it sounds, right, it's all there to be seen, and they're making it known that they're upset, that they're, not feeling it, okay? And they're seeking other ways to go around, America's hegemony, all right? Which would mean, a challenge, right, to the dominance of the American military and the dollar, all right? But with the pride that's oozing out of this place, America, man, especially Donald Trump, he doesn't believe that they're going to actually, leave him hanging, okay? He thinks that he can bully them and talk about them any type of way, and they're just going to go for it, right? But he's wrong. Little did he know they're allowing him to do this. But behind the scenes, best believe, man. Best believe they plotting. Okay? And they know that America's weakening itself. And they see now that it's not the dominant military power that it, claimed to be. This war is exposed America, man. So while he's, doing all this roo-rah, they behind the scenes plotting how they finna take them down, right? The same ones that you came up with that put you on, they finna be the ones to take you out. All right? And when it happens, just the shock and the disbelief that's gonna take place is gonna be incredible, man. And the fact that we're living to see it is beautiful, It's beautiful. Call all y'all by Shemal Shah, man. This is Jeremiah 50:15. Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of Yahweh Shemal Shah. Take vengeance upon her as she hath done. Do unto her. And that's what the Lord is going to do. He's going to repay America in the same ways that it has operated for so many years, man. He's going to take them down the same way. Okay? With cunning tactics. Right? He said the foundation of her are falling. So that whole alliance, okay? All of your ally, you jumping in and, America would wait until all the, pretty much the war is over. And then they would jump in, while everybody's been weakened to take the, to take the glory. In my industry, we got it's a saying, they call it glory diving. Somebody else do all the work and you come in at the last second to complete the project and you take all the glory. Well, that's America. But guess what? Now it's going to go the opposite way. Now you're going to do all this work. You're going to weaken yourself. Okay? And you're going to be left defenseless. When everybody turns on you and decides to attack you, you will have no defense. It will be nothing you're able to do about it. Okay? And that's why, you're going to be left desolate, as the scriptures say. So with that, give all praise and the glory to Yahweh, Shah, Hashem, Makakodash, Wa, Abba, Babal, and DTA, DTN.